Welcome everybody. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. Market's doing pretty good, holding tight at 29. It's like 26.5 was the break. Still reeling from the Terra thing the markets are. I guess Kwon is having to beef up security there in Seoul. His wife got a knock on the door yesterday. Some guy was there, asked for her husband. She obviously said he wasn't home. The guy left, but nonetheless, the guy somehow managed to sneak past security in their luxury building. And she is asking for increased security around them. I think that's a good idea. A lot of money has been lost. Tensions are high. Asia, it's a little bit different. Here, it's more of a tough love sort of investing environment. If you lose all your money, if you put too much in one stock or coin, then, nobody really gives you sympathy. You got to diversify. You got to do your due diligence. In Asia, it's not really like that. People gamble a little more. They tend to idolize the CEOs a lot more. I saw that Justin Sun and Tron and the just godlike status he achieved with the Asian traders back in 2017, 2018. So yeah, they just put, much more of their portfolio in one coin. When things go bad, tensions are going to be high, and that's what's happening here. So I think it'll be okay there. So still no news on, nobody's claiming responsibility for the attack. There's no suspects. Nobody is speculating. What we do know is that the attacker it was very well funded, had a minimum of $280 million to pull this off, and that doesn't include the extra amount they used to open a short position. So most people I think are in agreement it's got to be somebody in crypto specifically. This wouldn't have been like a mainstream global macro hedge fund that just has a small crypto division. I don't really think they're, at this point, crypto is sophisticated enough to pull this sort of thing off. So, how many entities have that kind of money, 280 million plus? It could have been a rival blockchain. It could have been a crypto fund that specializes in high volume, high frequency trading. Exchanges would have the money to pull this off, but I don't see what they would have to gain from this. I don't think it was an exchange. So I think either crypto fund that does high volume trading or a blockchain competitor. Now, one interesting thing to note is you may have heard the last few days, a lot of the experts were saying, well, we knew that a stable coin was going to blow up. We just didn't expect it to be Terra. So the coin that a lot of people expected to blow up first was Waves. So this was in late March here. Their coin and their stable coin almost blew up in the same way. The coin went from $60 to $20 in the matter of a couple days, and their Neutrino USD, that's their stable coin, it did lose its peg. It went from $1 down to 70 cents. It just barely survived and regained its peg, went back up to $1. Then in the FUD of this week with Terra, it again lost its peg, went down to about 75 cents and regained. So they've come very close to getting cannibalized completely and going to zero, but they have just managed to avoid that happening. But now here's where it gets interesting. So their CEO, Sasha Imanov, this was in early April here. He did an interview, and then he said that in the wake of their stablecoin losing their peg, he was contacted by somebody on Vyers Finance. Somebody was asking to borrow the 1 million Waves coins, which equates to about $30 million at the time, and they were borrowing it obviously to short the coin. Now he said no, his company does not offer coins to be shorted like that. But he always wondered who that might be. So the presumption is that this attacker here was able to borrow the coins from another platform or person, and they did attempt to execute this short here. Was successful to a point. They probably were hoping for it to be cannibalized to zero, likely in the way Terra did. It did recover. So the assumption might have been this could have been the same attacker that pulled this move off with Terra, and then they just kind of honed their craft. They up the funds. They realized you needed more than $30 million to pull this off, and then they pulled it off again with Terra, whereas Waves might have been their test run sort of thing. So it's very interesting. I think it's more likely to be a crypto fund that has the money and specializes in these kind of high volume trades, like more so that than the rival blockchain. So there's maybe half a dozen crypto funds that have the funds that could pull this off, meaning they'd have to have at least $1 billion in total AUM, probably be more like minimum $2, $3, $4 billion. And then of the 5 or 6 total, I know of 2 that have a reputation for kind of engaging in these sort of dirty trading tactics. Doesn't mean one of them is it, but those would be the two suspects in my mind. We shall see. Again, it's too early to be speculating about who this might be. But that was very interesting, that Waves guy interview. So back to the market. So yeah, having a pretty good day here, up in the red. It does look like 26.5 was the bottom. The difference of the blockchain sectors are up especially high. That makes sense. So they were reamed yesterday, way more so than the rest of the markets. Move to earn sector is leading the way, up 38.7%. So, and then led by Step Apps. This is the coin that I profiled yesterday, did a deep dive on, and then in the 24 hours since then, up 208%. Number 5 on the top gainers of the day, and this is the total top gainers of all 10,000 coins. Number 5 up 208% in the 24 hours since I profiled them. And then, yeah, I mean, they strong fundamentals. I just like the project, and I kind of knew, I picked yesterday to profile them because I kind of knew that they were trading at an unreasonable low right down there. The metrics are there. The management's good. It looks like just in the market downturn of the last week, they just got hit harder than other coins for whatever reason. So I knew it was a good sort of buy in the low opportunity, and that's exactly what happened. So this is where I uploaded the video, and then up from 10 cents to 30 cents since then in that 24-hour period. 200%, number 5 on the biggest gainers of the day. So what caused the spike since then, other than the market turnaround? Well, a lot of new metrics. They're the number 1 social trending coin on DApp radar. At TVL, they just released an up 2,100% in the last month. So their app hasn't actually come out yet, but they do have pre-signups for their app, and it's exceeded expectations. Their total wallet downloads up from 25,000 a week ago to 45,000 a week later. 20,000 new downloads there, and probably most important, they just announced a new sponsorship deal for the Floyd Mayweather-Anderson Silva fight tomorrow in Dubai. They've just been announced as the lead sponsor. Now, this fight actually was just postponed a few hours ago due to the death of the president of UAE. But whenever it takes place, they still will be the lead sponsor. It's a big fight here. Floyd Mayweather, Anderson Silva. I mean, fights don't get bigger than this. So this sort of sponsorship deal, that's huge. That is huge. Good for them. Again, if any other teams, any new teams, new projects, if you have a good, legit project that you think that I would like, then send me a message. BenCryptoShow@gmail.com. I'm also on Telegram. I prefer email, but yeah, feel free to reach out to me. Robinhood. Sam Bankman-Fried has bought a 7.6% stake in Robinhood. He is doing it just because it represents an attractive investment. He does not plan on changing anything about the platform. He does not plan on taking an active ownership role. Robinhood was up. They had a little price pump. I guess they were up 40% at their peak yesterday. So that's it sort of makes sense on a lot of levels here. Both companies, FTX and Robinhood, they both kind of cater to both the retail and institutional crowd. For Robinhood, this definitely makes sense. Obviously, their earnings report was a little below subpar, so getting the FTX Capital brand name, that's good for them. FTX probably just wants to get Robinhood's user base. That's what I'd imagine right there. FTX kind of has all the technical sophistications they already need, so it's a crowded exchange, crypto space, the big four, Crypto.com, FTX, Binance, and Coinbase. It's competitive, it's a crowded space. In a bear market, not everyone is going to remain on top, so I think it's just an aggressive move by FTX to remain on top. Moving on, so this is an interesting article. CryptoRank put this out yesterday. The top 7 worst performing ICOs. So the current price is the most beneath the ICO price of any coin. And then so most of these are kind of just like a lot of no-name coins, not surprised. But the number 1 worst performing coin since ICO, Algorand. Very surprising. So I looked into that a little bit more. So they came out in 2019. Indeed, the price tanked a couple days in the days after being listed, $2.16 to like 30 cents, about an 80% drop. Now they have since recovered. Currently they're off their all-time high, but they did recover nicely here. So it looks like a good project, good good leadership, good fundamentals, but they definitely sort of messed up the ICO. So what happened? So I went into it. So I guess they did 2 big fundraisers pre-sale for private investors, $60 million, ICO basically, and then they also did a public sale also for $60 million, but they did it in a Dutch auction way, which just means anyone who wants to participate, they specify a dollar amount that they want to put in, and then they don't know what the price of the token is going to be, and depending on the demand in the Dutch auction, that's the amount that the person is allocated according to the amount of USD equivalent that they wanted to put in. So I guess what happened was they just set the price way too high. They set the price at $2.40, which all the IDO investors didn't know what the price was going to be. They just knew it had a lot of hype. The price is way too high, and once all the public sale investors saw that was the price after they got their tokens, they just clearly decided to sell immediately. This was the unlocked portion. The private investor ICO was locked, so this couldn't have been them, so this was the public sale. And then, indeed, this sort of Dutch auction style has not really been used since then. It got criticized a lot for that style right there. And Algorand has recovered. They were able to raise $200 million since then, as you can see. They do a strong fundamental. Some blockchains would have just totally tanked and gone to zero after this. They would not have been able to recover, but they were, and they raised $200 million. Putting that to good use now. They are the lead sponsor for the upcoming World Cup, so they have the money to do it, $200 million. So this makes sense. I just thought that was interesting right there. So for now, I'm going to take the weekend off. No videos, just rest up. I'll have a new video on Monday. Got some good content for next week. Get forward to it. Everyone have a good weekend. See you later.